What's up everybody, Christian James here. Today's video, Deputy Prime Minister Christina Freeland gets interviewed on, I'm pretty sure it's breakfast television. I started watching this on another person's reaction channel, and I paused it because I want to do my reaction to it because the face she was making at the beginning shows just how out of touch the politicians in this country are with the working class, with fucking the middle class, the lower class. They're unfamiliar with all the goddamn classes. You know the face she makes, the face only a mother could love, and a face that shows autism all the way through it. But nonetheless, I'm going to pause this, we can get the video up, and we're going to get into it together.
1 week away, and one thing most Canadians are making do with this year is a smaller budget. In fact, nearly half of Canadian households are planning on having a smaller holiday this year. There's less food and fewer gifts. Simply put, they cannot afford it. And as 2023 comes to a close, pressure is growing on the federal government to do something about the increased cost of everything. So what is the plan? Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Chrystia Freeland, is with us this morning, hopefully with some answers. Great to have you back with us in studio. Welcome back.
Great to be with you.
Minister, I'm hoping today that we can have a conversation where we get some answers and hear from you personally about how this affordability crisis that we're living in is truly understood. I think Canadians have watched, they listened to press conferences, they've seen the announcements, they watched as the grocery CEOs were paraded in and questioned. But my sense is that people are feeling that the Liberals don't get it, that they aren't feeling the tough choices that Canadians are making either to their budgets or in the grocery store. What example, not an announcement, what example can...
All right, everybody. Now, this is where she is about to ask her about how this is affecting her at home. And I'm pretty sure she makes around $200,000 a year. I'll put it right here when I look it up after the video. But you're going to see how out of touch these people are. Now, I make a good living. High five figures. My spouse makes a good living. We make good money. But combined, I don't make and she doesn't make what that woman makes. So you ask me this question, I'm still affected by it. You ask her this question, wait and see.
Share that would illustrate that you understand the pain and the pinch that Canadians are feeling at the grocery store when they're doing budgets. How does it look in the Freeland household when we're in a cost of living crisis?
Well, Emily, I think... The thing that, in my regular life, brings...
Man, like I said, she has no idea. She has no idea what to say. This doesn't affect her in the least. It hasn't affected her groceries, hasn't affected her car, hasn't affected her mortgage payments, hasn't affected anything. Even her, her super high speeding ticket out in Alberta hasn't affected shit in her life. 2 weeks after she said, I walk everywhere. I walk everywhere. I walked all the way to Calgary, rented a car, got a goddamn speeding ticket.
The challenge home the most personally to me is that my church, which is around the corner from my house, just up the street from us here, the Church of the Messiah, has a food bank every Wednesday. And the lines have been getting longer. And
what's happening at these food banks as the lines are getting longer is it's blocking her way to walk to the subway station. And she's getting very annoyed. Everybody watching this video, me making this video, we're all feeling the pinch. I'm not feeling the pinch of the food bank down the street. By the way, I did a food bank drive. If you're in Hamilton, Ontario, or in the area, and you want to donate, please let me know in the comment section. But my food bank around the corner doesn't affect me because I don't go to the food bank. And we know she don't go to the food bank. But please, Christina, tell us how much you're feeling this pinch. Because I'm sure it's hurting you and your power suits real hard.
And that is heartbreaking. It's
heartbreaking for the people who have no food.
We have food banks in Canada, and it's really heartbreaking to see that people really need them. So I am grateful to the really amazing people at the Church of the Messiah who...
You understand, politicians, especially ones like this, don't say anything at all. She said a lot of words. How is it affecting you at home? Well, it's affecting the food bank down the street from me. It's sad we have food banks and that people have to use them. And now I'm going to pass the buck on to the amazing people, so hopefully they vote for me while they have no food in the coming election.
Have worked so hard to have a food bank and to support our community. And it kills me that that's something that...
Look at the look on the reporter's face or the interviewer's face. Like, bitch, you have not answered any of my goddamn question. I asked you a simple, how the fuck is this affecting you? And I'm getting...
that they need to do, that we need to do.
Yeah, a national report was released recently that the numbers are up at record numbers. There's people who are employed who are using it to buy things like milk and eggs because it's just expensive. I want to give you a real life budget that was provided to our producers by one of their family members. She's a single mom. She has one child that lives with her, and we've got the numbers on a graphic, so it's easier for you and our viewers to follow along. But she makes about $26 an hour, which you know is above the lowest minimum wage in this country of $14 an hour. In Saskatchewan, in the highest, which is 16.77 in the territories in Yukon. So her weekly take-home after taxes is $801, which works out to about $41,697. And
Yes, if you're not Canadian, if you make $26 an hour, on average you work 40 hours a week. So let me just tell you how much she's fucking losing in taxes. And if one of you geniuses out there beat me to it, suck it. So she makes $1,040 a week. So she's losing $238.12 on every check. Now that goes to her EI, which is unemployment insurance, CPP, Canada Pension Plan, OAS, old age insurance, which I'm not sure why those two aren't really connected, but whatever. And then she loses a little bit to probably her, what do you call it, like life, not life insurance, work insurance, benefits. But in Canada, when we used to pay that amount of taxes, you didn't like it, but you thought you were getting your money's worth. The roads were paved, the streets weren't full of fucking terrorist protesters on behalf of Palestine. Things were good. Hospitals weren't overran. Right, we have a hospital in my city that turned away 100 people some the other day because they were understaffed and overwhelmed. So now that we're losing, what, 20-ish%, a little bit more, it'll appear on her paycheck. Yeah, we ain't feeling it right now. But, you know, Americans, the UK, it don't matter. Y'all feeling it like we feeling it.
76 cents after taxes. So that's a lot higher than the amount that's eligible for your grocery rebate. Those are the people that you called the most vulnerable. But when we break down her expenses, this is where it really hits home. You've got $2,000 for rent, $125 a week in car payment, $145 for car insurance, and then just over $82 for debt repayment, $120 for phone and internet. It works out to around $3,095 a month. That's before gas and before groceries, and leaves just over $100.
Now, the only thing I'm not seeing here is that mother probably gets, we call it child tax or baby bonus when I was a kid, and it's going to add something to it for sure. But imagine if you didn't get that. Imagine if in Canada, if you make a certain amount and you've had babies, we will pay you for it. It's a great system. Don't ask why. I have no idea. Probably because we lose so much in taxes, we get a little bit back that way. So amount remaining for gas and groceries, $112 a month. Now, if I'm going to go back a little bit into the last clip, just a tiny amount. Okay, let me see. $2,000 a month for rent. It's a 2-bedroom apartment or townhouse, which is, if it's a townhouse, it's highly unlikely. Excuse me, $125 a week for car payment. So that's $500 a month. The mom could cut that down or take public transit if possible. And again, if you can't because you have a kid and you have to get to school before you take work, you can't. Right? $145 a month for car insurance, that's really good for car insurance, especially in the last few years. She must have a very basic vehicle. She must have very, very basic insurance and a high driver rating, probably 8 or 9. So the car payments are kind of smashing her. But again, if you need the car, you need the car, and it's got to be reliable and safe for your kid. $145 a month for car insurance is low. $82.50 for debt repayment, so that could be a loan, it could be credit cards. And then $120 a month for phone and internet. My phone is $30 a month. With my internet, it's 100-ish, 110. And then so $3,000 a month leaves her with $1,252 before baby bonus or child tax. I'm willing to bet that woman, being a single mom, was a liberal voter who probably voted them in because they were talking real good about saving the environment and, you know, this and that, and we're here for everybody and we love everybody. Look, they used a lot of LGBTQ plus initiatives and issues to make it seem like they cared about people. But at the end of the day, the LGBTQ ABCD, you guys are broke also, so I don't give a fuck about you no more than they give a fuck about me.
For groceries and leaves just over $100 for the entire month for her and her daughter. But she is not considered vulnerable in the eligibility of this grocery rebate. So how are people like her supposed to survive? And what do you say to Canadians who are in a similar situation? They weren't deemed eligible for this rebate, but they're living really close to the margin.
Do you know how old her child is?
I don't.
So that would be important to understand in kind of thinking about her budget. If she has a child in childcare, then I'm glad that we've been able to bring the price of childcare down in 7 provinces and territories across Canada.
The mother showed her expenses on the screen. I just keep checking my lights on. I can't see it. The mother showed her expenses on the screen. Did any of you see child tax? I didn't see child tax. I went back to the first graph and back to the second graph. No child tax, Christina.
Childcare is now $10 a day, and in the whole country, it's down 50%.
All right, $112 left for the month after paying all her bills. She can send her kid to daycare for 10 days, but she can't feed her when she gets home, and she can't probably pick her up after the first week of driving her there and back because between $112 for groceries and gas, she's in the negative. This woman isn't even listening to the interviewer. She has no idea what she's talking about. Oh, how old's the baby? Irrelevant. You should have went to child tax. Well, you know, it's really hard for Canadians right now, but a beautiful thing that Canadians have always had, whether it's Conservative, Liberal, NDP, the Parti Québécois, whatever, fucking Quebec Party, we've always had child tax. And one of the saving graces is it'll be really, really, you know, helpful for her around this time of year. Like, hold on one second. Hey, Google. How much does a single person in Canada get for child tax with a $45,000 a year income?
Showing pictures that match.
Hold on, there's going to be a, Ontario child tax. One second, I'm unlocking my phone. Canada child tax calculator. All right, one sec. Let me do my screen recorder. I'll include this in. I'm not annoying the hell out of all y'all. I'll put it over the screen. Okay. So say that she makes $45 a year, okay? So like she said. I can do it that way, it's easier. Okay. Okay, I got 48. It won't let me make it easier. Number of children under 6. We're going to say 0 because I don't know. So we're going to say 6 to 17 is the higher percentage of being more likely? Yes. Monthly benefit would be $446 a month. So that would bring the mom up $446 plus $112. You're looking at $546. And again, that was at $48,000 a year. So I'd probably say it wouldn't be quite that amount a month. But it's an extra $450-ish a month. So in total, that'll give her $570 for groceries, gas, emergencies, child's gifts, Christmas, going out to eat with her friends, taking the kid out to the movies, doing basic family shit. Hopefully she also gets child support, but a lot of dudes are douches, so that ain't guaranteed. But anybody a douche like Christina over here.
That is a huge savings. Here in Toronto, that's $8,500 per year per child. So that would be significant. And then the other thing is, again, depending on the age of that child.
I should mention, she is 18, which is why we didn't include child
The child is
tax.
18?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. 18, no child tax. So I could have fucking waited 30 seconds.
So for younger children, and something that has made a huge difference for Canadian families, is the Canada Child Benefit, which is indexed to inflation, and that has helped lift 500,000 children and their families out of poverty.
Oh, minimum, but it's been that way since I was a kid. I'm 41.
What was striking about that budget was how much that family is paying for rent. And I think that in most families' budgets, the single hardest thing, the thing that sort of makes a difference in affordability of your own life, is cost of housing, cost of rent, cost for your mortgage. And that's why this year...
So since the Liberals have taken power 8 years ago, rental payments have almost doubled or tripled. Mortgages have doubled, and well, I don't remember the exact figure, so I'm just going to look it up instead of talking, but look, she's fucking wrong. She's just saying things to say things. Like, look at the dumb look on her face even when the screen's paused. Like, who voted for her?
This fall, we have been relentless about focusing on housing. Probably the single biggest thing, which received royal assent in those buildings on Friday, was lifting the GST on purpose-built rental. that will get between 200 and 300,000 new apartments built.
How does she know that? How does she know saving the GST for the builder will build 200, 300,000 new apartments? How? You're just saying a number out loud. There's no way you know what saving the GST in a high inflation economy with high interest rates is going to guarantee 250 to 300,000 new homes, but yet you brought 900,000 international fucking students and 1.2 to 1.5 new people into the country as citizens or landed immigrants or refugees or whatever. Okay, so if we have, let's say, upwards of 2.1 to 2.4 million new people, what the fuck are they going to do with 300,000 apartments? Even if we double them or triple them, that's 900,000 people at the most in 300,000 apartments. That still leaves, well, 1.4 million people with nowhere fucking to go. Plus there's people who live with their parents who want to get their own place. There's people who are going to break up, they're going to get their own place. There's people graduating college who want to get their own place. But hey, you're building enough for 8 years ago.
Rent for everybody, for people who have a mortgage. And I don't know about you, Anne-Marie, but I hear from a lot of people who have mortgages, and they're really concerned about what happens when their mortgage comes up for renewal.
Sure.
Interest rates are high, people are anxious.
Yeah, you guys are in charge. We're aware of that.
And so their budgets.
Yeah, and so with the Fall Economic Statement, we published for the first time a Canadian mortgage charter. If you have a mortgage and you're worried about it, Google that,
Yeah.
because it lists the things that you have.
Hey Google, Canadian Mortgage Charter. So I just looked it up. Let's see what it says.
According to True North Mortgage, features of the newcomer mortgage programs. Newcomers with non-permanent resident status are subject to federal eligibility requirements and may have access to insured financing of up to 90% LTV ratio for the purchase of a one-unit, owner-occupied residential property.
Okay. Newcomers and non-permanent residents. Who the fuck cares about them? Sorry, not sorry, but we're talking about Canadians here. What we're supposed to be. You could be considered for a new to Canada mortgage program if you received your permanent residency 5 years ago or less, are a new permanent resident with a valid work permit. Most lenders offer homeowners options for permanent. Okay. So that's some issue, but that's not what I'm asking yet. But anyways, back to the dumb interview because Google sucks as much as she does.
Right to ask your bank for when your mortgage comes up for renewal. A couple of examples.
Yeah.
You can ask for a longer amortization, and that can help keep your monthly payments down.
Yeah, it'll keep you. Look, I used to be in finance before I was in fitness and before I did this. Yeah, you can ask for a longer amortization, but if you take 30 years to pay, and then you take 35 years to pay, you're paying more money overall. So you're not saving money. You're paying more money. All they're having you do is stretch it out so it costs you more in the long term. School teachers and fucking half-wits in charge.
If you have an insured mortgage, you don't
Everybody has a mortgage as an insured
qualify
mortgage.
to go and
And what? Get what?
shop
Get
around and maybe get the mortgage from another bank.
Yeah.
So those are some concrete things. Maybe
The concrete.
concrete,
Concrete that's never been poured or mixed.
because I think this is something that can make a difference right away.
Yeah.
Is for the first time the federal government is cracking down on Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And I mention that because
Oh no. Airbnbs are the reason we have nowhere to go. Look, yeah, there's quite a few Airbnbs, right? They were popular for a time, and then they weren't. People sitting there having the house trashed. College country didn't want assholes anymore all over the beach and ruining the property with their weekends. That ain't fucking Airbnbs. It's Tweedledum and Tweedletwit.
cities like Toronto, Vancouver,
Montreal. Oh, the three
I
big ones.
did a piece, I think it was about New Brunswick, and some cities in Atlantic Canada. You're seeing Airbnbs crowding people out of the rental market.
Sure.
And with this measure, it is going to make it, where provinces and municipalities want to crack down on Airbnbs, because that's what people want. The federal government is helping. We think that's going to create 20, 30...
Now, I may not know what she's about to say, but the federal government is helping. How? Municipalities, which is the cities, the townships, whatever, and the provinces have been dealing with this. But now it's a federal thing. Okay. Pierre Poilievre said a few years ago, there was like, I don't remember, a lot of federal buildings not being used. Why don't we just use those? To my understanding, he said like 13 were converted out of like 3,500. I could be off by 3,500, but there was a lot. But Airbnbs, go after Airbnb, because that's what's going to fucking idiot.
40,000 apartments available right
Woohoo,
now for people.
40,000.
Which is good,
How?
because timing is important. When your team first contacted us about you and I sitting down together, there was mention of us chatting about traditions or doing some baking. Obviously, we're not doing any of that today. But the suggestion about baking got me thinking about something that affects everybody, whether you're renting or you have a mortgage or whether you have a teenager or a young
I like
kid.
this lady. I know she is. I like this lady.
And affordability. So the Consumer Grocery Report, we know, showed us that this year people paid more than $15,000 for groceries. Shrinkflation means that we're getting less for our money. I don't want to know what, but when will this get better?
See, there we go. I like this lady. Look, shrinkflation, right? You're paying the same shit for shit that's smaller. I was reading the newspaper the other day and a guy got, hey Google, shrinkflation McDonald's fillet of fish.
These are the top results.
So a dude went to McDonald's and he said, like, I know my hands are big, but my hands ain't that damn big. Right? Like, this was his complaint. Like, look at the size of that fillet of fish. I don't know if y'all can see it because I have my computer on, well, the fucking video I'm watching. See what I mean? Shrinkflation. Paying the same shit for nothing.
Because that's what people want to know. It's the timing. And I know with this passing on Friday, the soonest that we've heard of in the coming months, it could change. But people need it to change now. They're pulling stuff out of their grocery carts. They're crossing stuff off grocery lists that their kids like to eat because they can't afford it.
You know, Anne-Marie, I really share that sense of urgency, and I think it's really important for everyone to recognize that things are...
We know it's hard. It's hard for us, you fucking halfwit. It's not hard for you. Stop saying I share that. You don't share shit. You don't put anything back from your grocery cart in front of your fucking children. I don't either, but I'm saying I've been there. My mom was there. I grew up poor. I know what the fuck she's talking about. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've been in the checkout line, and tell me if any of you guys are poor enough to remember this. Or were poor enough. You don't tell me if you're poor now, whatever. But you're in the cart in the line with your mom, especially if you grew up with a single mom, single dad, whatever. And your mom is so good at counting groceries before the cashier got to you, she would pretty much know if we had enough food or enough money for the food in the cart, and if not, you'd see her strategically place things at the back of the cart or hand it to the woman at the end and say, excuse me, I'm not getting this for whatever reason. This woman has no idea. The only time she doesn't put shit back is because she grabbed the wrong fucking item.
in Canada right now. On groceries, the meeting that Francois Philippe and I convened of the grocery CEOs in September, that was important.
No, it wasn't.
That sent an important message
No,
to
it
the
didn't.
CEOs and through the whole supply
No, it
chain
didn't.
of groceries that enough is enough. Prices need to stabilize.
Yeah, it's
And
your
we
fault they're
have
high. It's not their
seen
fault they're high.
Inflation now, the October numbers was at 3.1%.
The same as
Inflation's
November also.
stabilizing. As prices stabilize, interest rates will be able to start coming down. Huge relief for people. The changes that you just referred to on Friday with the grocery, with the grocery competition law that came into effect on Friday, that is historic. Like, that is a generational change in Canada. I think we all know when you can shop around.
Well, we all know what's about to happen. As I spill my drink on the table, I've had one drink, people. One drink. Hey, Google. Canadian grocery competition law.
Here's a result from search.
Okay. Target grocers which okay. What does the Competition Act forbid in Canada? As a result, the Competition Act has effectively been left with only two criminal offences provisions: conspiracy and bid rigging. Both offences are per se legal, meaning that the effect on the conduct competition is irrelevant. Okay, so a large company may or may not get a fine. Ooh.
You get a better deal. Canadian competition law has really not encouraged that in the grocery sector. We now have a law that is going to bring in a lot more competition and going to crack down on anti-competitive practices. It will help our local grocery stores to fight back, and that is going to
Fight back against Amazon or ones that aren't local?
Give people more choice, give consumers more power, and I think that's the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do, but people, again, are just wondering when. I want to ask you really quickly about time. You know, the Liberals are down in the polls, and Ipsos recently as last week, published some numbers which said 72% of Canadians think that Justin Trudeau needs to step aside. Of the top three people who were named as possible successors, you came out on top alongside of Melanie Joly and Mark Carney. So would you like to lead the Liberal Party of Canada?
I am focused first and foremost on supporting Canadians right now. And you've just pointed out, people need our support. Canadians don't want us focused on ourselves. They want us focused on them. And I am also absolutely supporting our Prime Minister, who is leading our team, doing a really, really great job.
He's doing a fucking terrible job.
With him as leader.
Absolutely. But I really have to tell you, Anne-Marie, and journalists never believe this, my focus isn't on the polls. My focus is on my neighbors. My focus is on the Canadians I meet.
On the food bank every Wednesday.
My focus is on the great parishioners.
If you ever meet her, ask if she'll give you $50, see what happens.
Who run the food bank every Wednesday, and my focus is on the people who are in line there in the cold. That's what, that's like, it sounds so kind of sappy.
Bullshit.
But truly, when you
are a fucking moron and you know what to say and you're live on TV, you'll say anything at all to stretch the time to get the interview over.
Every day and think, what are the problems people have and what can I try to do today to make
You can
it better?
fucking quit.
That's what I focus on.
You've been an elected member of Parliament since 2013. Speaking of your constituents.
10 years.
You've been doing this for 10 years.
You're doing a terrible job.
Make a change. You're going to run in the next election.
I'm definitely running in the next election.
Definitely running. Last question. What do you think?
Up to my neighbors to decide whether I get reelected.
You won't.
We're going to have to leave it there. Hey, happy holidays. Thank you so much for coming in. Great to have you in the
Happy holidays
studio.
to you too.
Come back anytime.
It's not holidays. It's Merry Christmas.
Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland. Whoops. Thank you for your time today.
Hey, thanks for watching.
She'll never be Prime Minister.
If you like this, be sure.
Okay, 1 second, people. So there we go. We all saw it. She's talking shit. She has no idea what we're all going through. This is the problem with politicians. It seems to be everywhere. Look, I say this about teachers because in Ontario where I live, teachers keep getting salaries, but apparently the kids' scores keep going down. Your job, your salary should be dictated on how well the country's doing. Why would you get maximum money when the country is not doing maximum? It's not doing well. It's not doing good. It's actually failing, but somehow you're bringing home the same amount of money. That's the problem. Their job, right? Let's see. Okay, let's see. Hey, Google.
A few moments later.
She makes $279,900 a year. Okay, let's just say her base salary is $100,000, right? It's a stressful job, whether you're doing well or not. It's a stressful job. We can all admit that. And then everything else is like a bonus structure. Like I've had bonuses. I'm sure a lot of you guys have had bonuses. That's how it should be. Country does well, you do well. Country does shit, you do shit. At the end of the day, you should not make $300,000 a year for a failing business. If you were the VP of any company at all that was fucking failing, you would not keep your job. You would not get a pay raise and you would not make that amount of money. But of course, you'd be fired, you'd be thrown on the streets, and you'd never work again. But this is Parliament, and apparently you'll be re-elected by the same groups who elected you in the first fucking place. Of course, that's if they actually have any money to get gas to get to the polling station to vote for you, or we'll do mail-in votes again, and then next thing you know, all the Liberal votes will be counted, but somehow the Conservative votes won't make it. Right? I don't know. I'm just ranting. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if I'm right. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me whatever you think. I'm out.